Welcome to Human Reliability, Why Failing Forward Fast. So I'll stand out of the way of the screen. But clients today are implementing lots of changes at a very high rate, putting a lot of stress on us as individuals and humans that are deploying all of those changes. Now, how do we, as engineers and DBAs, make sure that we're not error prone? Checklists. Simple, very easy. Takes maybe 5 minutes out of your time before you deploy each change, but pilots use them, doctors use them, even truck drivers use them. It's a very simple, very easy thing to implement. We're going to talk a little bit about that today.
So who we are, my name is Martin. Well, I work with databases, Linux in general, open source, since a few times already. And Amanda?
Yes, I'm Amanda MacDonald. I'm a team manager at Pythian. We're a managed service consulting company. I was a consultant for 7 years, a DBA for 8 years, and now I've been a manager for over 5. All right, so ever said a little prayer when you pressed enter? We've all felt it. Come on now, admit it. Admit it. This is what we're trying to prevent with human reliability checklists. We're fallible. We're going to make mistakes. It happens to all of us. I've made, as a DBA, deleted a production system. I didn't even get fired for it, but I've done it. Now, what we want to do is take that moment where I'm sitting there wishing I had a time machine and I could take all that back. We can with human reliability checklists. You're never going to eliminate it. You'll reduce it. You know, we're going to make mistakes, but our bosses will buy into this. Sales managers will buy into this. It's going to be something that you'll learn to love because it will protect you from making those mistakes and maybe eliminating that little bit of, I hope it works.
So talking about that, we had a recent example of an issue. So what happened here, everything started with good intentions. There was the DBA needs to create some database servers in order to create more shards for reading, etc. But at some point, when that shard were created, the load went up, and then the slave were behind, and the DBA needed to troubleshoot that. So something that started like a small period of time get longer, and after a lot of hours of hard work, he ended up making one mistake. After many changes, he made just one mistake, and it was delete the production database. In that case, it was because he was working a lot on many things, making a lot of change, working hard, but yeah, it's human, so he made one mistake. What we are trying to calculate how much that cost. Well, we never know that because the company did not publish that, but for sure it costs in terms of branding. You know, it's everybody knows, or most of us knows about this particular case. And there is another one, recent.
AWS, who didn't hear about this one? No, we all have heard about it. You know, it affected probably mostly everybody in this room. And what was that mistake? It was a typo. Oops. I'd like to take that back is probably what that engineer was thinking. Now, automation is amazing, and I'm a fan. We use it at Pythian. We're on that track. But now we have to think, as engineers, we have more power to affect at a larger scale very quickly. We talk, AWS did publish what it cost some of their clients, but what did it cost them in time? What did it cost them in brand? Those are things that we can't put a money value on. But what, more importantly, how did that guy feel or that girl feel when they made that typo? I know I've been there. I'd like to take that back. I'm sure they would too. With a simple checklist, which we'll talk about, these things can help us from not making very simple mistakes like a typo. So let's take a really simple example. We're all security conscious. We all know that we don't want to expose passwords for major systems. At Pythian last year, we had 21 incidents in 2016, and for us, these are incidents. They cost us money. They cost us brand. They cost us trust. They cost us a lot. Not just the $600, which is a very simple example, but we're talking with 21 incidents in 2016, it cost us as a unit over $12,000. I know as a manager, I would rather give that money to my people who are working very hard than spend it on recovering from a very simple incident. That's hard costs. It doesn't talk about when I have to tell my clients, I'm sorry I exposed your password to the entire company and this email list. That's a simple example. There are other examples we all know of by bigger companies that have done this with your credit card information. So things like this, there's a hard cost. Very simple example, but what about all the intangibles that we just don't think about? So here, what can you do? This is human reliability checklists are very simple. We want to keep it simple, keep it short, write it down, make it repeatable. Hey, guess what? It's automation. You're doing it over and over again, a repeatable process. We automate it. We're automating ourselves to be more security conscious, be more aware before we press enter so we don't have to hold on to the seat like we're on a roller coaster. Pilots do it. Would you get into a plane? We all basically flew here, pretty much, I think. Would you get into a plane if they didn't check off their checklist to make sure it was safe? Nope. Doctors do it. Truck drivers do it. Why not IT folk? Why not us? We're the leaders in this industry these days. We're on the cutting edge. We're the ones who are responsible for your company's livelihood, revenue, and data. Some of us are probably responsible for global data. Why not take a lesson learned by other industries and apply it to our own? This is an example of Pythian's FIT-ACER. It's an acronym. It stands for focus, slow down, are you ready? We're fast. We move fast. Developers are deploying code at minutes. Some have no downtime. We got to think we're moving and shaking. You might be in charge of hundreds of systems and you're one person. But you've got to upgrade them. You've got to patch them. You've got to do all kinds of things with no downtime. Slow down. 5 minutes isn't going to kill you, but 5 hours in recovery certainly will. Identify the server and DB name, time, authorization. Type the command. There's the fit. There's the fit. Type it. Don't hit enter. Take a second. Take a breath. Assess the command. Spend some time here. Imagine going back to AWS if that person had just taken another second and noticed the typo. We wouldn't be talking about AWS today here. Check the server and database name again. You never know. Did you get a phone call? Did someone distract you? Did they ask you? As engineers, we all know that we're there. Everybody comes to our desk, wants something from us, wants a piece of us because it's fast, it's moving forward. Reassess here. Are you in the right environment? That's what happened to me. I had to leave the production environment because I got distracted and I thought I was in dev and I wasn't. Poof, gone. I wish I had this then, but I have it now, so I've learned a lesson. Review and document execute the command. There's no more holding onto your seat like a roller coaster. You're right. Review and document the results. Why? Because this is repeatable. Someone can learn from what you just did, your proper execution. And if you've made a mistake, this is your bat to beat people off with. You did everything according to your checklist, and the most important thing of this checklist is to protect yourself, as well as the data, and protect your credibility with your clients. Nobody will beat yourself up more than you will if you make a mistake. We've all been there. No one's going to come down hard on you. It's going to be you that sits in the corner of shame. And we've all been there. So get out of the corner of shame and try a checklist. It doesn't have to be this one, but why not just come up with your own? Or steal this one. It's all good. It's free.
Okay, so we were talking about the different process, but who should adopt this process in a company? Well, the thing is that everybody should adopt this process because everybody interact with this process during a request or during a specific task. So just to mention a few, the CLevel must be aware and must be agree that this is the right path, because otherwise they will start to generate different conflicts with making requests from top to bottom. Sales must be aware, well, we know sales. Sales must be aware that they cannot sell something that we will not be able to deliver. So if sales mention that, hey, yeah, we will get your site right away and we are not worried about anything, just we will do it, well, that's not going to happen if you have process to follow. Managers should be aware and it should handle the resource accordingly. So if my managers come to me and makes me a request and I was working in one specific task, well, I will tell her, well, part of my job is follow the first F, which is focus. So I can do one thing at a time. So I have these two, pick one. And I will do the other later or tomorrow. And then the engineers. The engineers are the ones that will execute the task itself, so they must be aware, and yeah, they're a great part of this whole thing. And at the end, since everybody is interacting with this process, everybody should collaborate and work to improve it. So it's not static, as we know that technology is not static, so we need to improve, continually improve the different process in order to adapt to the new technology. For example, we had many scripts at one time, like we need to check X, so we execute the script, one specific script. Well, we can adapt that to an Ansible playbook or something like that. So nothing is definitive. So if we are going to go through this process, we will get some benefits, because that's the end. I mean, we want to have some benefits, and we are going to mention two, but I think that there are more than that.
Right. So first is money, right? It's the one thing we can all grasp onto. This is how we can convince our higher ups, because this isn't necessarily going to come from your CEO or your CLevel, your account managers, or even your team manager. This is something you guys, you women and gentlemen in the audience, can take back and say, hey, I heard about this cool thing. If you think it's cool, go ahead and drop the cool in there. But it will save us money. Okay? Does it cost you a little bit of time? Sure. But again, you think about the 5 hours or the 20 hours it'll take you to recover and all those intangibles. But if we go back to the password change, $12,000. I could have given this guy a raise if he didn't make so many mistakes, right? But in all seriousness, $12,000 it can go into our salaries, can go into better benefits for all of us. Instead, we're right now with silly incidents like the password example. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. When we do an incident report, we have the DBA involved, the team manager, IPCs is our internal principal consultants. And on top of that, we have VPs, sales managers, all kinds of people reviewing this. That all costs their time. Imagine if you had time. Imagine if we didn't have that 30 minutes or hour that it took them to review this every week, what we could be doing different. There are things that are more valuable than money, and, but this is something people can grasp on. So when you need to sell, you always hit them in the pocketbook, right? And that's what it comes down to, is really understanding that incidents cost money no matter how small they are. Well,
Second benefit is the trust. Well, thinking the mistake that you made, if you can prevent at least one, what happened if you made the same mistake over and over again? I mean, it could be job termination, client lost, definitely loss of trust, So the trust itself, it's something that you will definitely get if you improve all the process and you avoid the mistake as much as you can. So, for example,
Oops.
Yep.
You do that part.
No, that's fine. Go ahead with the. Sorry.
Which one? So yes, apologies. I tried to run it technically. I should just leave it to the expert. My apologies. So we go back to surgeons. I had a knee replacement not too long ago, about last year. And I woke up and hey, the right knee was replaced. It was the correct one. It's the right one. What if I woke up and it was the left? Right? You hear the stories. You laugh. It's true. Do you know how many checklists they went through? I was awake in the surgery room. They went over all kinds of things. They marked up my leg. They made sure that the IVs were incorrectly. My allergies. How many times I was asked my name while I was lucid was amazing. They wanted to make sure they had the right person in there first. But they do checklists. So we're not above these things, and we can learn from the best. Hospitals, do you trust your doctors? Hopefully. Next time you go, ask them, do you do a checklist when you're doing surgery or do a procedure? Absolutely they do, because they don't want to get it wrong. Because it doesn't only just cost them trust and money, it can cost lives. We don't handle lives necessarily, but some of our data can be that critical to people. So if we treat it, not quite life and death, I guess that'd be like very dramatic, but you think about loss, and for companies, a small company losing data can be out of business. And we don't want to be those people that do that.
Okay. Then I will basically share my personal experience with this. I was working at Pythian for a year and a half. At the very beginning, it was very stressful that you have to consider this on each post that you made in our tracking system. But at the end, when I was working continuously on different stuff, I see the value on first of all, sure, you know that if you're following the rules, if you're following the checklist and you are doing everything fine, and a mistake was made, well, it could be that the process was not correct. So you can go back and repeat that in order to fix and try to avoid that in the future. So also it helped me when my manager requests me something that I was working in a different thing and I didn't want to, well, because if you made a mistake, the face will be you. The person that you are working, it will not matter if you are working on three things at the same time or not. So basically, the face will be you. So instead of pay all your attention in one task and be focused on that, well, you were doing many things at a time. But if you made a mistake, it doesn't matter. For the client or for whoever you are working, it will don't care about that. So yeah, it's something that I was able to say, well, I'm doing this. I need to finish this for this client. Okay, I will this other task to other person. And that's it. And that's the end of the story. That's how you deal with your manager.
So if you take one thing from this, it's understanding that things won't happen overnight. But the change starts with everybody individually in this room. If you all go back and use your own reliability checklists to proof your work, it's contagious. More and more people will wonder why you don't make mistakes or you make them very rarely. We all had the math class sometime and it's like, double check your work, show your work. That's the same concept. We've been doing it all our lives. And here, imagine where you don't have to worry about pressing the enter button. Imagine how much stress it would be relieved from your shoulders. It's simple. It is not rocket science. We're not telling you anything you don't already know. But the difference is that we can stand up here and you can ask people at Pythian, does it work? Yes, it does. We went from 21 incidents in password exposure to none so far this year. We put other things in place, but this is the main reason. And no one got fired for a password exposure. But it works. It's simple. I know everybody's kind of like, yeah, I get it. Absolutely. I hopefully convinced one or two out of here that it's a good thing. We're happy to share answer any questions. We're happy to send you to the Pythian website where you can see the FitAcer for yourself and a longer explanation of it. But why not come up with your own? Take it back, push it up the chain, push it across your teammates and other managers and engineers. It's about just sharing and being open to learning something new. We're in control of this, and we're not going to stop making mistakes, but we can absolutely help ourselves and try and prevent them. So thank you, everybody, for coming. If you have any questions, Mark and I are available. Thank you.